Good evening to everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our commission meeting dated June the 6th at 2023. I apologize that we started late. But,
The apologies are on me. I separately already changed it, so.
Well, I'm just glad this happened first, because otherwise I'd be sitting here next week all alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll call this meeting to order. It's 5:18. And the next item, invocation, Mike, Commissioner Duggins invited this minister to come and give the invocation. Commissioner Duggins would like to invite different ministers from different churches. So I told him to let you know in the commission. We make it tonight, so can you introduce the minister, Mike? Good.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm Ed Sullivan of Family Christian Center. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you, Lord, that you are in this place. Lord, I ask that you would bless our men and women this evening, Lord, with a spirit of wisdom. Father, would you lead them in the way that they should go? Lord, may they seek justice. Lord, and may they do that which is right. Father, I ask that you have blessing upon this assembly, Lord, that each person, Lord, would be heard, Lord, and justice is done. And Father, that all things are done with decency and order. Now, Lord, bless us, I pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I would like to also thank you, Ed, for the service that you did for the indigent people, Magdalena. That was very nice.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you going up there and doing it for them. And you're always welcome to our meetings anytime you want to come.
You need a preacher out just down the road.
Okay, thank you. Next item is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation indivisible, with liberty and perfect friendship. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Aguilar, Vice Chair Secretary, Commissioner Duggins, Commissioner Gonzalez,
Here.
Chair Martinez.
Present, ma'am. Approval of agenda. Commissioners, do you had a chance to review the agenda? Would you like to add anything to it or move anything? Let's see. If not, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez, second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Item 7, approval of minutes of May 23rd, 2023. Did you have a chance to review the minutes, Commissioners?
I'll make the motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez to approve the minutes of May 23rd, second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The minutes of May 23rd, 2023 are approved. Thank you very much for doing it for us. Committee reports, acknowledge department reports. First one is detention center.
Good evening, Commissioner, Chair, Commissioners. My report for the detention center for the month of May. Programs available. We still have Bible study coming in on a daily basis, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for men and women. RISE programs are still occurring Tuesday through Friday. That's with the DWI compliance program. Josefino with the Rise also comes in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we have Jason Crane coming as well on Tuesdays and Thursdays, people that are male detainees. We still have Alamo Behavioral Health and Dr. Marsha coming in on Fridays, along with Mondays as well. This month, department accomplishments. There's a lot of training that occurred this month at the detention center. Myself, Captain Vega, Sergeant Bell, and one of our OICs attended the Mexico Game Task Force training. We also completed the performance evaluation training with Mr. Hawks. And we also completed the developing and correction officer training that was online. We all received certificates for that as well. Detainees are, in the month of May, they worked with the room department, assisting Art Gonzalez with, they had some work in San Antonio, I believe in the Limitar Palmadero area. So they were out there for, I want to say 4 to 5 days, assisting helping them out because I know they're short staffed and we got detainees that are go out there and work and stay busy and get some fresh air. So I enjoy doing that. Art took care of the meals for them. They were well fed. And just to give you guys our numbers, our daily count 72. Our highest has been 79. I think as of for the month of May, we have 20 detainees from out of county. So detainees from Valencia County, Sierra County, and Castro County. So we're making a little bit of revenue there just to close at the end of the year. I know the new year's coming up. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Commissioners?
Not for me.
No questions? Yes, sir.
I just, I'd like for you to introduce I see some new faces there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the reason I came today is we'd like to recognize one of our officers. His name is Isaú de la Rocha. Stand up, Roach. He's been with us. Tomorrow will be 1 year. We had an incident that occurred at the detention center last month, and that's why I want to recognize him. We got a plaque here for Mr. Rocha. He kind of just went above and beyond. When this incident occurred, I'm sure you guys heard about it. Mr. Rocha probably told you guys. We had a detainee that was being housed in our booking cell. He managed to get up top of the housing unit. He started messing with some bolt, and he was just working on it with a piece of string that he had from the blanket. And he managed to get himself out of there. He crawled through the crawl space, went to our administration. He dropped off in my office. So he fell in my office. He kind of ransacked my office and was looking for shirts, shoes, some type of attire to get out of there. Once he opened my office, he went to the 106 door, which set an alarm to master control. And our master control officer, Peralta, his shift is actually on duty right now. So she alerted someone and told me, hey, something's going on. There's a door that opened, and she's seen with the camera system that we have SCDC uniform at the door. So she on the radio said, hey, someone's out. So it's Saturday. We didn't have cell phone service. It was that Mother's Day weekend. So they tell them, she seen somebody in Shania, Mishu. There was the only 3 that were on the shift. They went to proceed to BK for where this individual was housed. And they seen he was not there. They seen that there was an opening where he came through. Then we went through the administration, and he had probably about a 5-minute head start on Isaú. And Isaú took it upon himself to ensure the safety of not only the community, but us at the detention center. He went on pursuit, and he went after this individual. The individual wasn't from Socorro. He was a felon out of Colorado, to be exact. And he got to him. He hit him with some chemicals, gave him directives to stop. He wasn't stopping, so he never stopped the pursuit. He just kept on going with him. It started from about Solero all the way to PMS. And again, we had no cell phone service. Luckily, Isaú had a cell phone. He had called Captain Vega, and luckily Captain Vega happened to be in Los Lunas. The phone service was working for him. He got on the phone and he told me, hey, we haven't escaped. This is what's going on. Vega didn't really read the situation, and so he kind of heard the way he was talking. And he said, okay, I'll get help right away. He dispatched PD. PD kind of misunderstood Solero from Valero. So they responded to Valero, and finally they got the understanding that it was Solero. So by the time the sheriff's office got there, They responded right away with Eastside Woods, so he stayed on them throughout the whole 15 minutes this occurred. Again, we're not trained to do that. I think it takes somebody who takes pride in what they do, and, just protecting the individuals that are around. That day was the graduation from Mexican Tech as well. Luckily, I shouldn't say this, but luckily it did happen on a Saturday. Luckily, the detention center is where it is. Because if he was at where it used to be, down next to the sheriff's, he could have been into somebody's property, inside somebody's house. Along him running through the Royal, he's barefooted. He only has a uniform on, so that place was full of cactus, broken glass. He managed to take off his uniform, so he was pretty much naked. He found a trash bag out there. He was covering himself. But again, I credit Eastside for his character and what he did. A lot of people, everyone could say, I would have done this, I would have done that, but if you're put in that situation, you tested on what you would and what you wouldn't do. So for him only being here a year, I commend him for what he did. It takes a certain individual to do what he did. And again, for him only being here for a year, it's something that's well known and very appreciative. And that's why I brought him here today, so we could give him a plaque and recognize him for his efforts and what he did. For me just to say a couple of things about him. This kid's 21 years old. He's never missed a day of work. If I need an extra body, he's a phone call away. He's never told me no. He's never had an excuse. He's professional. He's willing to learn. He's actually running one of my shifts. It just shows you what kind of character this individual is. I can honestly say, I think he's here for the long run. I think this is going to be a career for him. This isn't a job. This is something that he wants to do. He's a great kid. That's why I brought him here, and I couldn't say enough to him. I'm sure some of my supervisors, Mark Bell, my sergeant, he could say, a handful of other great things about him. He's just a great kid, and look forward to seeing, where he goes from here.
And the one with the cap?
One with the captain is my transport officer, Jose Gee. He's been with us for a little over 2 years. Sergeant Bell has been with us for a little over 5 years with the Sheriff's Department and with. And then I got Captain Vega, who's going to be with us. I think he just completed his 8th year. So that's my team right there.
Good team.
Yes, sir. Way to go above and beyond. If I could call him up to.
Sure.
Want to come up there? In recognition for above and beyond Correctional Officer Eastside de la Rocha, with great honor and appreciation, commendable and dedicated service to Socorro County. Never forget the difference you make every day. You are greatly appreciated. June 6, 2023. We made you a couple of shirts as well. It says Roach.
Roach.
He's a rooster guy. He loves roosters. So we got him another shirt that has a rooster on the background. Who's that? It's going on over here.
Send it to us.
We can get up there too, like?
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Lieutenant Gallon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you requisitioned some lieutenant shoes?
Yes, we got those on.
Hey. Picture. Okay.
Thank you.
No.
I mentioned at the last commission meeting, Mr. Garcia, I went to a board of directors meeting with the Associated Counties. You probably already heard, but they're looking at regionalizing detention centers. And they're gonna discuss that in Farmington a lot. They're trying to get support from all the counties to make that happen. They say they can provide better medical care for the inmates that need it, if they do it regional. I don't know if it'll ever happen or where, but that way you know what's going on.
Thank you.
Number 2, road department.
Afternoon, Chairman,
Afternoon.
Commissioners, Mike. Well, we finished our chip seals for the year. Got it done. We've just been sweeping now and getting ready to box seal and stripe it. And go back on our regular maintenance. And then I have a couple of contracts coming up. And see if we get that done and make some extra money for the years.
Contracts with who?
Marietta and with the school district. Yeah.
Any questions from Art Commissioner?
Here's some of the examples of some of the work they've done out there.
So you need a sweeper, Art,
Yeah,
a roller. Just wore out.
and I need most of all I need is a loader. Yeah,
Did we get allocated funds for fog seal and striping or not?
yes.
I think that's it. I didn't put all of them.
That's fine. I wanted to thank Eddie and the detention center for helping us out with the inmates. They did a real good job. They come in handy and help out work. Without them, I don't think we'd be able to finish that quick, so. Besides, Mike, but likes, they like to come on, because Mike buys them the meal, so they're okay with that. But everything else is really good. I just heard now that one of my operators, Robert Montoya, had a heart attack. And he's up in Albuquerque now.
Really?
Yeah. The stints now. So he'll be out this Thursday, he said. But he had to fly out. I just heard that. So it's got that news.
Mike?
Thank you, Chairman. There's hey, Art, on here we have a cost currently for the loader is $6,001 just to rent it.
Yes, to rent it, yes.
That's not a lease option, it's just rental.
We just rented it for a month. So I'm thinking of taking it back sometime Thursday.
Oh, so the other one's paid off. Our old one that.
The old one is paid off, yes. And the dump trucks are paid off. Everything's pretty much paid off.
You still working on the numbers if we try to lease, rent, or at least own some of the equipment we're looking at?
Yeah, they're sending them over to me, Mike. He just sent me the quotes for the cost for each piece of equipment. So he said that he can have them ready for me by Thursday, and I'll send them over to you, and that way you can send them over to the commission and we can look it over. And one of our trucks gave out, asked Gail, Girl Trip, if she could let us have that truck that we had did them out. When Dare was going up Granite Hill. She said, she told me, yeah, I'll lend it to you, but I want it back in the, because I guess somebody replaced the Bear, so I thought, yeah, that'd be good for the summer. I said, until now that we have the students working with us. So we've been picking up trash and potholes and.
Is it a pickup that you have?
It's a pickup. A 150. On the, in New Mexico terrain, the F-150s, this kind of terrain in New Mexico is, they only last 100,000 miles, depending what kind of, like, what kind of terrain you guys are out there, like in the field. But, some of the trucks that we have, some are 182,000, some are 200,000, some are older. So they're up in mileage, it's just doing a lot of maintenance, so. It's just, for the last 3 years, I was looking at the numbers, arenas, that, the last 3 years, we spent $217,244 in maintenance and rentals.
How much?
$217,224. That's rentals and maintenance.
Commissioner.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think part of that number is routine maintenance, though, right? You know what percentage routine maintenance is? Yeah.
Routine maintenance, no, it's like, it spends about 78,000 just for rental alone. And the routine maintenance has been, breakdowns and replacing rear ends or having to replace a lot of parts on it.
So that's repair.
Repair, yeah.
We don't want to include routine
Yeah.
maintenance, because that will be stagnant cost through it.
Yeah, I had 56 pages of the work that we did, but I don't want to print them all out. I just wanted to give you the exact number of that. But, print out pages quite a bit to get to each one of you, but I can send them over to Mark. Send them over to you.
The best, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So the best approach was like we had discussed, probably get the numbers, get the life cycle costing. We'll include routine maintenance because it's fairly inert other than consumer price index and inflation to consider. And then we'll take repair is a different thing because obviously the older all of us get,
Yeah.
and then rental, and that will be the number that will be the most significant in comparison of where we go from there.
Yeah, I'll have them all separate out.
And we'll meet, and we'll start. And then we come to the commission and say, this is the need, where do we find it?
I think, it'd be better if we just go, leasing out. Because it costs the county quite a bit of money if we, go and buy them outright. It'd be quite a bit.
And we'll do some compare and contrast.
On the graders, we're leasing 3, correct?
Yes.
How much are those?
Those are 12,000 a month
For all three?
for all 3.
That's an increase of about, I want to say close to 50 grand, right?
Yeah.
Overall.
Yes. If we would have went with Caterpillar, it would have been a lot higher than that.
Increase in what we used to pay in rent.
Yeah.
My question would be, we have 3 graders. Do you have the amount of hours that are those used constantly?
Yes.
So they're
They use 10 hours a day nonstop.
three
Well,
operators.
more or less 9 hours a day nonstop. Because when they have to get out there, they have to drive out there. The most of, when we have cooking them back, the most we put on a grader is 8,000 hours.
8,000 hours.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of hours. That's why the contractors. They know they're gonna hold them.
We met with the DOT with the city of Socorro, remember, Mike? And I asked the current acting DE for District 1.
Yeah.
In the past, they used to give entities the first choice, like if they wanted to get a piece of equipment, if they requested, instead of taking it to Santa Fe. He was gonna check, and he told us to send him a list of what we needed. And that way maybe he could work and get it from Demi. In District 1, they called them in the District 1 area. They were always complimented in the state. Equipment they turned in was always in pretty good shape. They took good care of it. Some other districts wouldn't. So I feel that's probably has continued. Maybe you and Mike can get together and you can send him an email of stuff that you need. Send it to Aaron and see if he can help us with that.
Yeah, I remember that because when Leroy used to take us up to Santa Fe to go get that equipment. We had to run for it, really. We had to pull out the tanks to know what piece of equipment we wanted.
Yeah.
But now everything has changed, I guess that, if you ask for it, government entity, we have first choice.
But they still take it to Santa Fe, to get rid of it. But some of the equipment is pretty good, something that you need. So you only have one broom
One room.
and one mower.
Lucky that the motor wasn't rolled on it, it's just that. It's pretty old, so I just told them just to turn it off for the meantime until we worked on it. So they worked on it last week. It's doing fine now, so hopefully it'll last until we finish all the room. Yeah, we only have one room.
And for personnel, did you fill all the positions already?
I just lack, well, the guy that I was supposed to replace was Robert Montoya for project supervisor, but he just had a heart attack. So I already sent him the PAFs. But he said he's gonna be all right, so we'll see when he gets out, see how he feels. See if he, and I told him, if he was up to the top, he said he was. So, all right, I'll pass it on to Mike. He said, so you can take care of yourself. I said, that ranch, he just bought a ranch. That's what stressed him out. And, and he told me that's what stressed me. He said, that's what stressed me out. He said, looking up for that ranch. He said, I should have never bought it. He said, he'd think it was going to be that difficult, especially if he's on his own. He with his dad and his dad not there.
Well, continue working with Mike and
Yeah, I do. I can make sure that my kids are everything and make sure I tell them everything.
And you saw the emails for the agreement with the forest, no? You can't do nothing until.
Yeah, Manuel, I told Manuel, no, don't be calling him up. I said, and so I think it was Arena that told him that it was okay to go ahead, but she thought she had read the email that they had came to an agreement. I said, no, not yet. So Mike gives us the okay. I told him, and they will go ahead. I go with so Mike meets with Tina. And I said, they'll give us the okay to go ahead and lay the forest road.
Okay. Any other questions, Commissioner? Thank you.
Thank you.
Managers report, Mike.
We'll try to be brief and just give a review. Went to Santa Fe reference broadband, but nothing was really concrete about funding coming down anytime soon. And without some type of match, still working on it. Still working on ownership on plots of land in San Antonio on flood control projects, and actually myself and the county attorney and representative from engineering met today and had a working lunch, and then went to reviewed all the paperwork and then went to the actual lots to see what types of mitigation we could do to get the project still to proceed. They'll be mobilizing they're mobilizing and storing the last week of June. They'll start phases 2, 4, 5, and 6. Probably the week after July 4th. And then soon after that, depending on how the BLM project purchase of land goes, we will do the remaining 137. I attended a PDF grant review, submitted our grant. I had already submitted it, but I had to make a presentation myself and Richard running from DEC on El Central Road for 1.2 million. So we'll see how that goes. We're hoping we should hear something maybe by August or so. Still working with ITG on the biometric system, still having lots of issues with that. Airplanes are still coming in at a high rate. We had another meeting with Cottonwood Charter Schools and other participants with the reference of an electrical deficiency, and took steps to see how we could identify the problem or what caused the problem. Because the problem seems to have been abated, but so we're trying to do some investigative work if that still is true and what might have caused it. Sent out some more cannabis applications. I sent out 2, but that's actually increased to 4. We requested and received an increase in the budget for the summer internship. We now are employing 40 interns instead of 30. I think we're either second or tied for second for employing the most internships throughout the state. I did both employee performance evaluation trainings for department heads, so we're getting that underway. Submission to the manager's office and HR should be completed before the end of June. Meeting with Mr. Moretti on some road work and off of El Centro. And discussed the work that was performed and what else needed to be done, and provided him with an additional estimate for a highly costly project, so we'll see how that goes. Yourself, Mr. Chair, myself, and myself met with City Administrator Mayor Basker, referenced future NMDOT projects, and that's where we talked about possibly acquiring some equipment without having to run up Santa Fe like we used to do. Meet with the court, the county assessor and county treasurer to review and upgrade the process of home permits. Meet with administrator. I already sent out that first draft to them, so they're in the process of reviewing, and then after that, we'll run it by the county attorney to see what, if anything else needs to be done, and then try to put it into play. Met with the administrator of district courts, reference security issues, and some possible upcoming events that I think the sheriff's office and the city and some other entities are trying to make sure that the district court is a secure place. And if there's any type of event that it's done outside the premises of the court property or the county property. We did the proceedings on 12 indigent burials in Magdalena. The chairman, executive assistant were there, Mayor Rubb, Commissioner Duggins, Fire Marshal Mercer, and others. And turned, and all 12 of them were turned on June 2nd. Preacher Ed Sullivan was there. I did attend the opioid committee. I believe Commissioner Duggins was selected as a representative. He couldn't make it that day. Passed several agenda items and resolutions, and also passed, they're going to, they have received funding from different counties. I think ours is still pending. I think we're sending what we need to send them, but they have close to $1 million and suggested to start investing that to garnish as much interest as possible. So they're looking at participating in the LGIP. And let's see. That's about it. That's not it entirely, but that's
For now.
yeah.
Commissioners, are there any questions from manager?
I don't.
No. Well, Mike, I on behalf of the commission, but I think we need to thank you and Jennifer and the commission for doing the indigent burial. I think that's two entities working together for the betterment of the community. Some of these people didn't have money and they don't charge in Magdalena to bury them. I think it was a good thing. The minister that went up there said some kind words, and the mayor, Magdalena, also, I want to thank him for working with us to be able to do that. To me, that's it's a win-win situation for all of us. I know it was a lot of work planning and all that, so thank you for doing it. Acknowledge June birthdays, commissioners. We have a printer, who wants to do it?
If you want.
Okay, John.
June birthdays, Elaine Briggs, Emergency Management. Athena, you're gonna have to help me with your last name. Gasumis, DWI Program, happy birthday, June 5th. Walter Gensler, Road Department, June 29th. Christine Gonzalez, Detention Center, June 28th. Antonio Huero, Road Department, June 24th. Julie Griego, Assessor's Office, June 11th. Michael Hawks, Manager's Office, June 9th, happy birthday. Andrea Lucero, Treasurer's Office, June 7th. Ray Martinez, happy birthday, June 8th. Reginald Peralta, Sheriff's Department, June 13th. Brett Ramsey, Detention Center, June 14th. And Betty Saavedra, Clerk's Office, June 2nd.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Go ahead.
Could I just ask the commission for suggestions on how to celebrate 29 years of being 20?
I'll let you know when I get there.
You're only one day older than I am.
Right.
See, I can't even remember 29.
Acknowledge commissioners report. Commissioner. Ali?
No, I don't have anything, just that, like Mike was saying, the summer youth program with the county is going pretty good. I know the city has one going on, I think that's pretty good. A lot of kids are working. That's a breath of fresh air, really. Young kids gotta learn to work, that's all I can say.
I just want to announce we're going to have a meeting here June 28th. CASA is court appointed special advocate for the youth. We coordinated that meeting here. There's different counties coming and there's a lot of people that are working with this. We're going to have it here at the annex. It's pretty good. I invited the sheriff and a lot of people. So there's a lot of need out there. I was talking to our state representative, Tara Armillo and Gail Armstrong. They're going to come. They're going to share some information with us. I don't know if you've seen in the news, State Representative Gail, she's trying to implement some changes in the legislature to hold CYFD accountable for the way they handle kids that are, that need the help. Somebody needs to take care of them. So I told her to come down and explain it to all of us and see what we could do. She, her and then Tara shared some information. I was very, very shocked on what's going on all over the county, especially in the schools with fentanyl. She told me some stuff and I just couldn't believe it. She has surveys, reports and stuff that she's going to share with this committee. I didn't know that you could get it sitting on a toilet. If they spray it on the toilet, it can penetrate through your skin. I didn't know that. She said that that's how some kids are getting addicted to it. Or if their parents are doing something with it, I don't know what they do with it. It could be on the table or somebody and they touch it. It goes through there and they become addicted. She told me that the amount of kids that are being newly born are being born addicted. So it is an issue. It's an issue not only in our county, but I think all over the country. So it's at 10 o'clock in the morning. Anybody's welcome to come. Once we have an agenda, I'll send it through the county website so everybody can see it. And that way you guys know what's going to be discussed. Public comment? Go ahead, Mike. Do you have anything?
I forgot to mention that the courthouse will be closed June 9th due to construction. I believe it's starting at noon, and I believe some of them, though, I think district court is closing all day. So, and it's on our website and then it's gonna be posted, so. Posting it tomorrow, so. Wanted to make that during the meeting as well.
Okay. Just the one day?
Public comment.
We don't have anybody for public comment.
Anybody in the audience, public comment? Nope. Okay. New business, 10A. Sunzia presentation on road assessments and road agreements.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, in your packet, you have the information from Sunzia. Their representatives are not here tonight, so I would suggest at this point that we just remove or bypass A and B. Will tell you I had a meeting with Sunzia's representatives last week, and the good news is they are planning on doing the same. We talked about it, the same basic deal that we're getting for the first line. We were arguing about whether or not they would have to do it for the second line. It looks like we're gonna do good on that, so.
Okay, so moved. Table.
Just remove it.
Okay. Item C, consideration of resolution 2023-52 supporting State Representative Jones' request for the governor to deploy the New Mexico National Guard to the southern border.
Again, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, this was Commissioner Duggan's item. It's up to the board whether you would like to approve it, disapprove it, or remove it. At this point, since it'll be tabled twice, then it'll be up to Commissioner Duggan to bring it back up if you want to remove it. It's purely this board's discretion.
What do you feel, Commissioners?
So if we remove it, he can still bring it back up?
He can still bring it back up when he would like, yes. And if you voted it down, then he could not, but if it's just removed, yes, he has the right to bring it back up.
He's not here, I don't know.
Well, I've read what the resolution says. I think it's all that just trying to get the governor to recognize that she needs to send some help to the border, help those people. I think I'd be comfortable to make the motion to consider resolution 2023-52 after reading it. But if you guys want to table it, just let me know. I'll make the motion to consider resolution 2023-52 supporting State Representative Jones' request for the governor to deploy the New Mexico National Guard to the southern border. No second, so, okay. He'll have to bring it back up, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. Item D, consideration of Western New Mexico Communications Board broadband proposals and award of $250,000 ARPA grant. Mike or Adrian?
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioner. Western New Mexico had plans to be here today. They unfortunately weren't able to, but they definitely want to be at the next commission meeting. So if I could get to the table, very important. Has to do with broadband and the allocation of the grant monies we have. I'd actually like to see the commission believes it meets the merits of what we're trying to do and award the grant because Congress is trying to claw back some of that ARPA funds allocated before October. I don't want that. I just want you to know that's a possibility, but if we could table that to the next meeting, they assured me that they would have someone here.
So I guess we make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez to table, second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is tabled. Discussion and direction to staff regarding employees' health benefits fund and life insurance fund.
Commissioner, Commissioners, in your packet, you see a letter from the Association of Counties to Secretary Doucette, and reference roof benefits, and I don't know how to put this, the idea that the state legislature implemented an act or a law that would require counties to make up funds that were needed. In Socorro County's case, it's about $220,000. The Association of Counties right now is asking that the counties be aware of it, but to take no action as far as paying it at this time until we see if that's even constitutionally legal, and some other efforts by the counties. We're not the only ones. Municipalities were hit with this and they had already submitted their budgets. We had already submitted our budget. Other counties had, as well as even state agencies were hit with the bill and they had already received their budgets. So we recommended that all commissions take a look at it for knowledge and acknowledgement, knowing that there is a possibility that we might get hit with a $220,000 bill. But at this point, the recommendation from the Association of Counties and our legal counsel is, I believe, is to just stand ready and see where it goes.
So that just a continuation what we
We just
discussed
discussed
about previously, so state course.
So do we need to do a motion ready?
You do not, there's nothing to do. We were anticipating that possibly there would be something to do at this point, you know, so that's why it's from last week, but there's still no resolution.
Okay. Item F, consideration of resolution 2023-53, polling locations.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, every odd year, the commission is required to set the polling locations for the upcoming elections in 24 and 25. Certainly the ones for this year are already set. These are the polling locations that are current and are still recommended by the county clerk. So I would suggest approval of the county clerk's recommendation.
If I may, Adrian and Mike, the polling place that I saw for Magdalena, it is the old senior center. Did they get approval from the mayor or, because that's no longer a building, right?
It is still currently the county's building, but Mr. Chairman, that will have to be worked out between the county clerk and the mayor, and we can amend the resolution if necessary. I would imagine that the village, that they were certainly going to be amenable to using it.
Let's just wanted to make sure that.
That's a good point, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Just food for thought. I believe we will be attempting to present to the commission the what we would like to see happen with that building, or our recommendation of what should happen with that building in Magdalena at the next commission meeting. There are some legalities that are discussed with the attorney, so working through that and through his guidance, we'll make a recommendation to the commission. Thank you.
okay. Commissioners, I need a motion to approve resolution 2023-53, polling locations in the county. Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez, second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 2023-53, polling locations is approved. Item G, consideration of resolution 2023-54, appointment of county board of registration.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, just as with the previous resolution, this is required to be done every odd year. Board of registration reviews the voter rolls, and when people haven't voted, or if they're known to have passed or other instances, they do clean up the voter rolls. The law requires that there be someone from at least two political parties on here, on the board of registration. And these, I believe, are the current members, and these are the ones, the individuals that the county clerk is recommending to be on there. And you have that in front of you, I believe.
Yes, sir.
It's up to this board, whoever you would like to appoint, as long as there's either 2 Democrats and 1 Republican, or 1 Republican or 2 Democrats. I mean, whatever. But as long as the combination is correct, then you have the right to appoint anyone you choose, but these are the recommendations to the county clerk.
You heard, so I need a motion to,
I'll make the motion to approve.
motion by Commissioner Gonzalez, second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? This is your board of registration for our county. Thank you. It's approved.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I would be remiss to also throw out there that this board could theoretically serve as its own board of registration, but it's not recommended.
Thank you. We have enough to do. Item H, consideration of resolution 2023-55, 2024, Mexico DOT LGRF project cap, CAP.
Chairman Martinez Commission, in your packet, you have consideration of resolution 2023-55, 56, and 57. These are our annual LGRF projects that we proposed to NMDOT. And they came back and they approved at a certain dollar amount. Some were higher, some were lower at the approval. I would recommend they pass on all 3. They still require the 25% match. We should have the funds to meet our match.
So they approved so much. Okay,
Yes.
good. You heard the recommendation from the manager. He's asking for us to approve item H, item I, and item J.
So,
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez, seconded by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Items H, I, and J are approved. Thank you. Item K, consideration of fiscal year 2024 grant agreement and detox grant agreement with DFA. Dina.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners, and just to say, I also would like to thank Sammy because I was calling her probably more than I should, just to say, are we clear yet? Are we clear yet? Are we clear yet? And yes, it all got cleared, and so our funds were released, and so we're very grateful for everybody's contribution and support in allowing our grants to continue so we can help the community. So just happy to report that. Thank you. I don't know if there are any questions. I do just want to quickly backstep a little bit and just inform the county manager that I did speak with Shauna Hartley, who's from the opioid meeting, and so she's the consultant on that. We had a very good conversation today, and I introduced her and told her about all our stakeholders here in Socorro County and made all of the connections that she will need to be able to move forward with what she's doing. So just to inform our county manager that did happen in case I can't make that meeting, but also did inform her, I think, that I was supposed to be second, just in case Commissioner Duggins was not able to attend. So she's got all the information on all of our community resources, and we'll be connected fully to all of them. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. So we need a motion to approve it?
Yeah, it's above my signature authorities.
Okay. Commissioners, need a motion to approve grant agreements. Motion by Commissioner Aguilar.
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Gonzalez. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Fiscal year 2024 grant agreement and detox grant agreement with DFA is approved. Item L, discussion and direction to staff regarding budget investment transfers.
Chairman, Commissioners, I believe it was on your last agenda regarding a transfer from LGIP into North State Bank. And you all had a few questions on that.
Oh,
The commissioner that, he's not here, but I think it's 200,000?
I think, whatever, I think you showed them to you. I was.
Chairman, Commissioners. I did show him the spreadsheet that you had prepared and need for the 2.3 million that we had discussed that you had wanted to move, and I believe the commission said it was authorized the movement. But then I think from what I could tell is that he contacted the chairman and then wanted it to be discussed again in the meeting today.
Yeah, the expenses, how much of that was gonna go? Who's gonna get that money? So high dollar amounts?
So in a nutshell, we owe 2.3 million and you're gonna transfer 2.3 million. Not spending more?
So what I did, this is purely for reporting purposes. It's not that we anticipate doing anything with those funds. It's just that now at the end of the year, I want to make sure there is appropriate cash in each fund, specifically the ARPA fund. Let me touch on the funds that they are. All of them are restricted cash funds. So those are funds that we cannot use as general funds. They're assigned to a specific purpose. So the ones I'm mainly looking at are fire protection. Those are for our volunteer fire departments. They incur reimbursements and they receive their fire protection funds throughout the year. And they don't utilize as much of their reimbursements as they possibly could. So a lot of that goes to cash. So that's one of the restricted funds. The other is county fire GRT. We're looking to utilize that fund in order to demo and I guess it's raise the sports page building. That'll be what the remainder of the cash in this fund will be used for. The rest, we are looking at an NMFA loan. So that fund will be used to pay on the NMFA loan for the new fire building. The others are the ARPA. We have to have appropriate cash in there to meet all the budgetary needs for the ARPA expenses that you all approved in your meetings. And then the local assistance tribal consistency fund, that's the LATCF fund. I left about $300,000 in there and the rest is in investments. And that 300,000 is just an anticipated amount for large or like a large expenditure. In my history here, it seems like $250,000 is like the golden number, and then it's just padded a little bit in fees. And then the other ones are all debt service and trust and agency funds. So funds we hold for taxpayers to pay our distribution to our other local agencies. And those are the only ones that were touched. It wasn't general fund or anything. And it was purely for reporting purposes to make sure that I'm showing the proper amount of cash and the proper amount of investments without having to hold $1 in an account when I know we're gonna need $100,000.
So I understood.
Yeah, well, a commissioner wanted to know where that money was gonna go, so that's what we requested it.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and it's just gonna be cash. It's gonna just be sitting in a different bank for when it needs to become available.
Question, at one of the meetings, the road department was kinda hurting with funds. Are they gonna be able to make it to June 30th?
So they are gonna be able to make it through June 30th. I'm not concerned about making the end of this fiscal year. What my main concern is making it through next fiscal year and maintaining cash within their account. I did meet with Art and Serena to go over the financials and anticipated projects, and we were able to narrow down that. I think it was like 180-some-odd-thousand to about $34,000. So it's not as bad, and it has the potential to get better if we spend wisely.
Okay. That's good. Thank you for coming in.
You're very welcome.
Mr. Chairman, could I dovetail off that?
Sure.
So I believe we've had the discussion, I think the county's probably in a very good place comparatively to where we've been in the past. And some of the reasons for that is Things that we put into place, our DWI escape program. Routinely, we used to put in at the end of the fiscal year or near the end of the fiscal year, 60 to 80,000 just to make ends meet. Now we have a surplus out of those funds to actually invest and help it work for us. The energy efficiency project will benefit us to the bottom line. Our road department used to actually be 110, 120,000 in the hole due to various reasons. We've pretty much tried to control that, but even with that, we do have some worries about fiscal year 24, 25. The Just Health program, before that was implemented, we spent easily about $300K a year on health issues at the jail. Solid waste was another 120,000 that we've actually saved. Some of the administrative fees that we've implemented, we do receive a grant or do programs. Our distribution of property fees has also been worked on. Some of the things though that we need to be aware of that are coming up are the radios for the sheriff's office. That could be at 200,000 plus. Healthcare we don't receive anymore through the legislature. That's about 100,000, 120. We donated 100K to the LLC. We have another 200,000 that we might have to put out for the health group insurance benefits if it's decided that we do have to pay. One of the other things that helped us was we had an auction that we garnished about 190K. One of the other things that we have to be cognizant of is after July, we will probably be classified as a high B county instead of an intermediate. And so with that, there's identified legislative thresholds of pay for elected officials and they're higher. So that might have a propensity to impact compensation with that idea. So those are things we need to be aware of. Also, the state reduced their GRT. So what that does is it actually reduces our total GRT. So that's going to have a fiscal impact as well. So those are some of the reasons why we are here today. One of the other things that we got to be aware of is our loss ratio summary in Socorro increased by 334%. And so, I don't know if you saw that, but so those are the things that we need to be cognizant of. The other thing is that, so we're moving 2.3 and just so the commission knows, the one caveat, so in May, we made $75,000 in interest through LGIP. I think we made maybe $100 in our other institution that we have. So just from January through May, we're close to $250,000. And if we stay on that pace, we could be, if we stayed at that pace in 12 months, we would garnish $900,000. $900,000, just food for thought of, and I think I mentioned this once before, if we're smart, we hopefully can use some of those funds to maintain our compensation package. We know we don't have to care for the senior centers anymore, so we have some cost savings there, but we still have compensation and some other things, we have foreseeables. But if we're smart, use those funds to maintain compensation package and then actually come to each commissioner and go, after we do this, let's say, for example, we have 500,000 of interest money. We have 5 commissioners. What is the main goal this year in your district? You have several, you have Hop Canyon, San Antonio Park, you have several, sure, Joe has some, I know Duggins has some, I know you probably have some. Could you imagine, without worrying about garnishing a grant somewhere or anywhere else, actually having the capability to go, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it now, and still not touch the thing that's making the money. So just food for thought of where we're at, how we got there, what we need to do to maintain it, and how good it could be if we take the right steps. So that's just food for thought.
Well,
Definitely.
when I saw those amounts, when I first became a commissioner, we couldn't buy anything. We were like, we don't have money in this. And now we've been able to do that. We've been able to give raises. We've been able to do the salary scale plan. So that was needed. And I think it just makes us better for the employees coming into work. They know where they're going to start, what the starting pay. It's all there. So I want to thank you for the hard work, all of that, and keeping that up. And I know I asked for a lot of stuff, Mike, but I'm just thinking if I ever get, you told me in the emails, and I like that. Sometimes I need to be told because I just get too excited and I want whatever we can for the people in the community. That's my main goal. So thank you for your work.
Well, certainly the manager and the commission's leadership that got us here. It's a good thing. Having money is a good problem to have.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, and Sammy for keeping everyone in line.
Okay, item N, approval of construction of a fence or gate around the Magdalena Cemetery used for Indian burials. Here's one thing that I asked Mike to put on the agenda, because in Magdalena, the way the cemetery is, people will bury, they'll get too close, and the mayor had designated that area. Because people just go over there, okay, let's dig it here, let's dig it here. So he gave us so much land, and we saw it now that we went over there. It won't take much money, I think, if we do it with just a barrier, so people know. The mayor said he would put a sign, so people know that's for those indigent burials. They'll have to move from there.
We can't just spray print the line.
We can, but
No, I think.
But Mike's working on an amount and stuff for he got the footage and everything. So whenever you get the final amount, you can let us know and then we can vote on it,
Actually, if you don't mind, my suggestion would, I think when I first got it, I thought we wanted a chain link and beautiful gates. And then after being out there talking to the mayor and you, and what is out there, that chain link went through T-posts and that sort of horse braided fence, and then some railroad ties to do a livestock gate, maybe a winter gate, so that $8,000 that I got estimate from Wax, if you give me a threshold not to exceed 3,500 or 4,000, I think that'll get it done, and I'll just start moving on it then. If you want it to be done now, or if you want to wait for an exact quote, I can do that, but then it delays it. Or I could give it to you and then we could start it in the new fiscal year. So any one of those is an option.
What are the wishes of the commission?
How's the rest of it fenced? Does it match?
I'll try to get it to match.
Yeah.
Instead of braided.
Yeah.
Like ballpark.
As long as it is aesthetic to the community, that's all that really matters. So.
Okay. I can try and get those railroad ties from the VLA donated, because they've been donating them to people for landscaping. They might donate it for that, I have exactly how many they need to make the corners.
So you just want me to bring it again to the commission next meeting, or do you want me to?
Yeah, why don't you, that way the other two commissioners see if they don't have a problem with it. And by then I'll get an answer on the railroad tie.
So it asks for approval, but you want to table it? So then it will be, and we'll ask for approval again. But this time.
I just make a motion to approve it. I didn't have that, you didn't see it. I think we need to wait for it.
Okay,
Thanks.
Yeah.
okay, I like that.
If it's ugly, we'll blame it on my fence, right? As long as, you know, the community, someone say, who put that fence up?
Yeah.
I understand the intent. I know I said spray paint, I was just joking, but I think it should look presentable.
That's what board read.
You should.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Gonzalez to allow our manager to pursue this for the amount of 4,000. Second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It is approved. You have the reins, Mike.
Thank you.
Item N, consideration of funding for Socorro County Community Alternative Program Recovery Month event. Athena.
Yes, again, good evening, commissioners and chair. Yes, Jason Frame, who is our CPSW certified peer support worker, is part of an organization called OPRE, which is Office of Peer Support and Recovery. And we've been doing, September is National Recovery Month, and we've been doing a recovery event in Socorro. I think this might be like our 12th year. So he applied for $3,000, and we're just hoping that we can repeat that. And Jason is actually currently at the city meeting to see if he can get some freebies from the city to use the just use the rodeo arena and some areas. So that's what this is for, okay? And we usually do it at one of the parks, and you know, it's a nice event for families and folks in recovery here in our community, and people come and have food and they can sell things as well. And I did have a question for the county manager. When folks come in and want to rent space or buy space to open a cannabis dispensary, is there a way that we can also, DFA is very concerned now with DUIs, you know, driving under the influence of cannabis and how that's going to affect things. Is there a way that we can ensure that we can maybe put some prevention signs up or a poster or some resources? I don't know if that has to be put into the contract or if that's something we can just have to ask the stores individually, but it would be really helpful because a lot of it, obviously Medicaid pays for medical cannabis, but we still do have a lot of folks that are under DUI that are using cannabis. They may not be buying it from a distribution center or a dispensary, but it would be really nice because so many stores are opening up that maybe we could have a uniform kind of poster up that says these are the resources for cannabis abuse in the community, just in case. I don't know if that's something we can do or not, but it would be helpful.
I can certainly answer them. I mean, I don't believe there are any in the unincorporated area of the county. So they're all in the city. State law limits our authority as far as cannabis goes. So we can always request that, but we cannot mandate it by law. So the legislature strips us of that authority when they pass the Use Act.
Okay. So we would just have to go in individually and say, can we do this? Okay. All right.
Exactly like we used to do the old DWI program when we first started it. We'd ask commercial
liquor stores and.
Yeah, hey, do you mind us putting these pamphlets here? Some will allow you, some will not. Of course, then you have it at your complex, wherever else we can place them.
Okay, terrific. Just wanted to ask that. Thank you. Any questions about anything? Okay.
Are you asking for funds for this?
Oh, no, we've applied for funding. It's just so you are aware that we're applying for this funding. And Sammy has set up a separate sort of line item for this, for the OPRE. So this is like its third year. So
they're asking for your
$3,000.
$3,000?
Yes, it's just approval to write for it.
Oh, because it says we would like to request funding of $3,000 to host a recovery celebration.
Right. So we're writing for support from this organization. So really, I guess that it was just sent in, the information was misleading to you. We've applied to OPRE to the folks that are saying that there's grant money available to continue to do the recovery month in September. And so this will be our third year in a row to possibly receive funding. So it's just to inform you that we're writing for this and hopefully we'll receive the money. So we're not asking it from you, we're just asking for your approval that we've applied for it.
And if you don't get the money?
We will.
Thank
We'll do
you.
something anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't need nothing there, just as information.
Yeah.
Item O, approval of safety net carpool fourth quarter payment.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, pursuant to the Safety Net Care Pool Act, we do have to put out a portion of our indigent funds for the state. It does benefit, actually it benefits Socorro more than a lot of communities because we put out the money and it actually comes back to our hospitals and institutions in a greater amount than what we put in. For other counties, that's not the case. They put in more than they get back, but it's one of those things, we don't have a choice, but it actually benefits us in this situation, so I recommend approval.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez to approve safety net carpool fourth quarter payment. Second by Commissioner Rivera. Any further discussion? Hearing none, it's approved. Safety net carpool fourth quarter payment. Financial action items. In the past, we've approved both of these at once. A, approve vendors checks. B, approve payroll checks. Need a motion to approve both of those?
I'll make the motion to approve the vendor checks and payroll checks as presented. So we have the payroll. We have the accounts payable. Accounts payable in the amount of $61,087.44.
Okay.
I don't have the payroll. My computer is dead. So here's my charger.
There's 136,414.
136,414.88.
36.
$136,414.88.
Motion by Commissioner Gonzalez to approve vendors and payroll. Second by Commissioner Aguilar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, both vendors checks and payroll checks are approved. Sure.
So the total is $256,978.04 together.
Yeah.
So. Okay, we don't have any executive session, correct? Okay. Our next commission meeting, say again? Our next commission meeting is June 27th, 2023 at 5 o'clock.
Did you hear that, Commissioner Gonzalez?
27th, 5 o'clock.
Thank you. We are adjourned at 6.